This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code GOLF SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Get to the SGPN app for easy and instant access to all of our free picks and podcasts. App Store, SGPN, pretty straightforward. All right, we're back. The boys are back. After a long 14 days, 13 days in Hawaii, we got some more Cali swing, more West Coast golf to sweat. Before we get into any of that, we'll talk about the Sony. Dom, my condolences. Just want to ask you how you feel, State of the Union. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see the background that he's got. But I would say a pretty positive season for Vikes fans. But just wrap up the season and last night for us, if you can.
Yeah, so obviously not a whole lot of expectations heading into the year. So they exceeded expectations by going 14-3. I kind of knew the Week 18 versus Detroit was kind of going to tell how the playoffs are going to go. It's not very favorable being a wild card, but I went to bed at halftime. I work nights, so I did go to bed at halftime. I decided I didn't want to watch anymore. Told one of my friends that I think we'll know by half how the game's going to go, and Darnold kind of showed that he wasn't going to come back to what we had seen earlier in the year, unfortunately. But the one positive I have decided myself that I'm taking from this game is I think Darnold played his way out of Minnesota.
Really?
So, yeah, I do.
I thought he had a great season, though.
He did. But I think if he had won a playoff game or if he had beat Detroit, then maybe they would have handcuffed themselves and signed him to a 2-year to 4-year deal that would have costed too much anyways. I've been so back and forth on Sam Darnold, so it's hard to say where I'm at, but I'm officially out. Love what he did, but might be a blessing in disguise that it's a JJ McCarthy season. So,
how much better do you think JJ could be? I mean, maybe in like 5 years or 4 years he could be really nice, but I mean, you want to get your new guy out there. I get it.
He played like a quarter or two in preseason, and it was pretty exciting. Couple bomb touchdowns. Let a couple loose across the middle. So I'm pretty excited.
So you're not like overly distraught after it. Like, it's a good season. You got to sweat.
I've been through so much watching this team in the playoffs. So
yeah,
that was a different way to lose. I mean, it's back in 2001, they got blown out by the Giants, but I was too young at that point to really feel anything. So the rest of the playoff losses that I've encountered have been like the Blair Walsh missed field goal or the Brett Favre interception. When they're in field goal range. So that was a little bit different. I mean, that was that was different. That was a blowout.
Right. I got you. All right, we're gonna touch on the Sony a little bit. We'll do the Amex first. How do you like the new background? Thoughts?
Love it.
It's pretty sleek, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sleek. Yeah, I think it looks good. All right, we'll touch on the Sony. So Sony Open in Hawaii. It was a very, very, very exciting finish. I had that Spawn ticket. That one hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Did you watch the end of that? How much did you get to?
I did not get to catch the end. I was sleeping through it, unfortunately.
The night shift really does
a lot
for you, for sure.
Yes.
So Spawn obviously when I'm sure you saw how some of it went down, but when Jaeger went OB on 16, I was like, we're gold. I'm gonna hit this Spawn ticket. I was so scared of Jaeger. And then obviously Jaeger saves bogey with like a 18-foot putt, and then Spawn misses his 9-footer for birdie. I was like, all right, this is only a one-shot swing. Yep. I'm nervous. I just don't feel good about this heading into 17T. And I knew 17, tough hole. I knew for a fact he was going in that bunker. Everyone was going in that bunker. Everyone who had like a pulse was going in that bunker. So obviously he went in that bunker, hit the worst fucking bunker shot ever, failed to get a make par, and then you miss in the one spot you can't miss around 18 green, and you don't get it up and down. And I was like, this is 3 of the last 4 Sony Opens where I've lost on 18. Yeah. So it just hurts. And we've been so close in the fall.
I know.
Excuse me. It just hurts.
There. Yeah, you obviously all over Spawn, and if anyone had an each way on him, that obviously would have cashed. But that was definitely a rough finish.
Yeah. So Yeah, so Sony was a lot of fun. Great 2 weeks in Hawaii. Got a
Yep.
lot of some nice sweats, some nice. The only thing that we have to put our hand up and say, what are we doing? That Malnati, bad bet. I will say Malnati was a horrible bet. Why did we bet him top 40? It just like literally when I checked the app in the morning, he was like 5 over through 4. I was like, all right, this is just not.
Yeah, it was. He was done before. He was done before it even started. He didn't even give you a sweat. He didn't even. You couldn't feel anything.
Yeah, so that's that. But let's get on to the MX. The MX is a golf course, a golf event that we've seen for years. We had a 3-course rotation this week. One of the most bland birdie fests of the season. What would you put into the Amex in terms of course questions, in terms of overall event history, just in terms of what you're looking for heading into the week?
God, it's honestly the same. I feel like the end of the fall to early,
yeah, to like this week,
2025 is like you're getting the same exact types of tournaments, and you're looking for the same type of players. So like, I'm trying to like not pick the same guys every week and trying to look from different angles. And honestly, the Amex has always been one where I'm more willing to go off the wall and not dive too far into stats, because like Nick Dunlap last year, who would have bet him? No, probably nobody. The year Adam Long won, he was literally one of the worst rookies on tour. Hadn't made a cut in so long. He won when Andrew Landry won. I looked at the way he finished out in the fall. He was like missed 6 or 7 cuts in a row, missed that Sony, and then won the Amex. So it's like,
so random.
I mean, you get a hot putter and it's enough. So I think throwing some bomb each ways is kind of the way to go. Obviously, we've seen John Rahm win, and we've seen higher end players win this event, and they can, but I think it's kind of a stay away towards the very top of the board.
Yeah, of late it's been Rahm and then absolute like bombs are an understatement. So
Bombs.
obviously Xander was the class of the field. He's not in
Yep.
it any longer. So that just opens up the board any more. Like when you log on to DraftKings Sportsbook and you see Sung J M as the betting favorite, a generational loser, a great DFS target, a great top 10 golfer, a generational loser as the favorite of the golf tournament. It's just like, all right, what are we doing here? This is going to be a wide open event, in an event that's we're going to get a winner close to -30. Anything can happen. So we're going to touch on the top of the board, see if there's anyone we even want to like consider for anything, and then we'll keep it open. We'll open it up. So let's talk about these first names. Everyone's sub 30-1. Finau, Cantlay, Burns, JT, Sungjae. I'm not saying you're going to pick one of these guys, but if there's a guy, like say you're betting a 5-ball, who do you think is going to finish best out of these 5 golfers?
The way that my model is kind of spitting things out, I would almost say Justin Thomas or Cantlay.
I'm gonna pick Cantlay, but I think Justin Thomas is probably going to be my 2 or 3, close 3, because JT's been striping, just simply put, and he finished 3rd here last year. I like Cantlay though. What do you like about Cantlay?
Say he's been pretty consistent here in the past as well.
Agree.
I think you're getting a little bit of value based off of the top of the guys, like you mentioned Sungjae. I mean, it's not just that he's the betting favorite, but it's like you're getting him at 12. There's absolutely no value there at all. I mean, if he was the betting favorite and it started at 18 or closer to 20, maybe I still wouldn't get there, but he's probably going to win since I'm saying this, but I don't know how you can even consider Sungjae at 12.
I just have to mention this. So shout out Adam if you're watching this, because he texted me this right before we got online. Sungjae 12, Tom Kim 30 is the dumbest thing I might have ever seen in my entire life. Truly, like that makes no sense. Why is Tom Kim almost 3 times the number as Sungjae? Whatever, we move on. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Cantlay in this group too. I like his course history. I like the way he plays these slow rounds. It's gonna be right in his comfort zone.
Yeah,
that is very Cantlay-esque. I could see if out of these 5 guys, obviously I could see the favorite winning out of these 5 guys in terms of finishing position, just because Sungjae will backdoor
Yep.
around 461, which he does better than anyone. So I'm going to gun to head. I'm going to go Cantlay, but let's move it down, open it up a little bit more. I'm not going to list off every name. So peep some of the odds while we do this. But 30-1, we have Kurt Kitayama on DraftKings. He moved up a little bit. TK Siwoo, we'll go 30-50 because I know we're gonna have a bunch of names like 100 plus. So let's go 30-50 range. Who's catching your eye over here? 1 to 3, 4 guys, whoever you like in this 30-50 range.
Yeah, so I got a couple guys. I'm going to start it off with the guy that you had just mentioned, Tom Kim, 30-1. I think is a really good value. Finished 7th in approach in the field last week at the Sony, despite finishing T65 in the tournament. Missed the cut last year, but he was T3 the year prior. So I think you're getting pretty good value on Tom Kim, considering where some of the guys sub 20 are at. And then Davis Thompson at 40. Obviously made a name for himself here as a rookie, losing by just a stroke to John Rahm in Rahm's prime. Well, prime on the PGA Tour. You could still argue Rahm isn't his prime. But second appearance last year, T21. Not too hateful. And he's obviously a guy who can go out there and make quite a few birdies, especially on par 5. So I think you could argue that Davis Thompson's number should be a little shorter as well.
Yeah, Davis Thompson's a young stud. I like Tom Kim too. I think he could be in for a really good week. It's a golf course that suits his style of play. He's done really well on these shorter tracks in terms of where he's won. So TK for sure. In this range for me, I'm not sure I really like anyone in terms of who I'm gonna bet. I don't mind Brian Harman. I think Brian Harman found something last week, and I was kind of giving him a little bump last week. I thought he was going under the radar. I thought he was too cheap in all the markets. And now he's not too expensive. He's 50-1. And he gained across the board last week, finished T21. And this is a golf course that he's finished top 3 at multiple times. He's got another top 10. He plays a ton. And yeah, this is surely a Brian Harman golf course. Just hit those fairways and get hot with the putter. So I'm down for Brian Harman in this range. But outside of that, I'm not really touching anyone. Maybe a little bit further down. I guess we'll just go right into it. 55-1, I see. He was 60-1 in some spots too. Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin, he got off to a really hot start last week. He finished top 10 of this event last year. And these are the tracks that Ben Griffin plays well. You don't overthink those things, and they come to fruition. I thought last week, I was like, oh, yeah, Ben Griffin, positional Bermuda. You don't overthink it. You just do it. And I didn't pull the trigger on Ben Griffin last week. And then I see him shooting. He was like 7 under before I could even wake up in Hawaii last week. And then I was like, shit, Ben Griffin just at it again. Why did I just not listen to myself? So I don't know if I'm going to make that mistake again. Ben Griffin. So who else do you like as we go down, and I'll add a few more.
Harry Hall did catch my eye again. He's just been so solid over the last year or so, really. But JT Poston's another spot where I might look to. Obviously, strong track record here. He was top 10 in the field and birdie or better percentage over the last 15 rounds when I was kind of looking at guys who can score, who can go low. Obviously, a guy who has had a hot last couple months. I think he's still in the top 40 in the world, which is kind of crazy, but 55-1 on JT Poston isn't too bad. Going down a little bit further, let's see. I guess I bet Thor at 150, but that
concerns
has gone away.
About the withdrawal. Last week he withdrew.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. I'm concerned he's going to be a guy who's always injured.
Really? Because he's too athletic?
Maybe that mixed with the whole swing speed, like Jake Knapp.
Yeah.
Kind of when they both withdrew, I was like, they both crushed the golf ball. Maybe some of these younger kids, not Jake Knapp's not young, don't get me wrong, but he's
yeah, I know you're saying.
Done something different recently to get higher club speed, whatever. But I'm wondering if it's taking a toll on these guys' bodies because the withdrawals and seeing a back injury for Jake Knapp and Thor, we don't know why he withdrew, but I would assume, I don't know, I think he dealt with some type of injury in college.
Dude, I want to share my screen if I can because I'm watching. Oh, it kind of stopped. I'm watching the DraftKings odds change in live Thor just changed to 75 in front of my eyes.
From what?
50, I think.
Really?
What did you bet? What did you just say, Matt?
I caught a 150 on him.
Oh, Michael Thor Bjornsson?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I missed. Maybe I saw someone else. That's a way better number than what I'm saying. Maybe
No,
he went up. Maybe
I
he
wouldn't
went
bet
up.
him at 50. I bet him each way at 150. I just did a couple first clicks yesterday morning, and
I
he was
got
one
you.
of them because he can score.
He can. I bet him a ton. I also like him. At a macro level, I think he's gonna win this year, like you said last week. So let me ask you this question: When will Nico Echeverria be priced correctly, and what is a correct price for Nico Echeverria? Because if you just mint like plus 300 top 20s on this guy, like you're probably retired right now since the fall.
Yeah, he's heading into last year. I thought very low of him. Like I
think everyone did.
I didn't look at him as a quality golfer on the PGA Tour. He was a guy who was borderline like losing his tour card because he just wasn't producing at all, and now he's just unstoppable out of nowhere. So when guys start out like that, it's hard for me to get it out of my mind. But you're right. It's I don't know he'll ever be priced appropriately unless he does it at bigger tournaments, I guess. I really don't know.
Dude, last week when I was at Waialae, I watched Nico Etch swing, and I was like, this guy is a generational flusher. He's 100 to 1. Why am I just not going to bet this? And I didn't do it. And I'm like sitting there on Sunday. Why didn't I freaking bet Nico Etch? This guy flushes, and he's got some dog. So, yeah, I didn't do it, but it is what it is. Nico Etch, 55 to 1. If you've been riding the Nico Etch train, just keep riding it. In whatever market, just keep riding it until it fails you. Yeah. So let's go down a little bit. Sepp Straka, Tom Hoge. Shout out Nick Taylor, by the way. We have to at least mention Nick Taylor. That's like some really good stuff. Guy wins. Like he had no business winning that golf tournament. He didn't really want to win the golf tournament. He was missing those 3-footers. He's like, you know what? I think I know what I have to do right here on 18, and let me just do it. So he did what he did, and he made it happen. So I like this Tom Hoge and Sepp Straka pairing and on the odds board. I think both of those guys are in for solid weeks. They both play similar styles of games. I think Sepp is so due because Sepp is good at golf. Sepp will mint fairways, and he can get hot with the putter, and he can get hot across the board except for around the green. But you don't need around the green here. So I like Sepp probably above Hoge, but I also really like Hoge. Hoge's got a top 3 finish here. There's a golf course he plays a ton. He's won in California before, so I'm down for Hoge for sure.
Yeah, another guy in this range that I had on the list was Lee Hodges. I think he's around 80 to 1.
I bet him last week.
Huh?
I bet him last week. I'm with you here.
Solid last week. I think he finished just right at T10, right? So led the field in birdie or better percentage. Had a really good end to the fall season that we saw from him, and then obviously pretty decent course history as well. He had a T3 back in
he did T3. He almost won that year. I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't love the outright number exactly, but I could definitely see myself getting to a top 40 or top 30.
Yeah, let's talk about that actually, because there's gonna be guys this week and the next few weeks that the numbers are just so bad on. For example, I bet JJ Spawn last week at 140 to 1. This is an objectively better field, and he's 40 to 1. Lee Hodges, I bet him at 170 to 1 last week, and now what do you say, 90?
Yeah, 80. I think I saw for Lee.
Don't chase bad numbers ever in golf. Do not do it. They will come back, and when you chase bad numbers, you're a fish, and it's not going to work. It never works. And last year, Adam and I tracked this. I think out of every single PGA Tour event, say 40 events, we tracked the odds in terms of drifters and if they moved up. I think guys that have moved up in the odds won 2 or 3 times the entire year. It was all drifters who won last year because you're chasing bad numbers. It's recency. 1, it's recency bias. 2, it doesn't work out in terms of value. So before we get to this 100K range, there's a few more names I want to mention in like the 80-90 range, and then we'll open it up to just bomb central. So Seabez and Daniel Berger are names that I think are going to draw some attention around 70, 80. I prefer Berger, I believe. I just don't see Seabez. Like, if Seabez goes, I'm talking about outright. If Seabez goes runner-up, win, like, just burn the world down. He's not doing that again. He's just not doing that. I prefer Berger there. Anyone else you like before we jump down?
It pretty much ends at Hodges for me, I think, before we get to bombs. Yeah.
Okay, let's bomb it up. Let's bomb it the hell up. First, you have to bear with me. Got some ad reads, and then we're going to just absolutely rip the board apart with long shots. So let's talk about DraftKings. Playoffs. We're talking about the playoffs. You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you could score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Stake. Stake has partnered with SGPN with America's ultimate social casino. Stake US is a free-to-play social casino in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. All your favorite games are there, and even play with live dealers. Use promo code SGPN at sign up, and you can get $250K in gold coins, which can be used for the free-to-play games, and $25 stake cash, which can be played and redeemed for real cash. Stake.us promo code SGPN. That's stake.us promo code SGPN. And finally, Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boots and gimme pick'ems. NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. You can now use specials and boost on all your flex entries. So sign up with code GOLFSGPN to claim your special pick, plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code GOLFSGPN. Okay. 100s and above, triple digits, long shots. Dom, lead us off.
So the first one I got is Matteo Manassero.
Let's go. I love that.
His win last year was at the Johnson Workwear Open, 26 under, won by 3 strokes.
How could you forget?
Was also a par 72, a little bit longer, but a birdie fest at that. So not a lot of stats on him from over here because he didn't play a whole lot. I think he played in the Open and Scottish, if I had to guess. I forgot what I was looking at. But yeah, Manassero, 350 to 1, and I think he's got a pretty favorable number when it comes to a top 40 as well.
I think he made the cut at Pinehurst as well. He's generational striper. Fuck with Matteo Manassero. He had a really good coming up last year. He used to be a winner, a regular winner, and he dealt with some things, but he made it his way back on the European tour last year. I love that pull from you with Matteo Manassero.
Yeah, right. 350, and you can get a top
350?
350.
Wow. Okay. I'm definitely down.
4 to 1 on a top 40.
I can't do another freaking top 40.
Well, when you're taking guys like Malnati, I mean, he's also a guy in my head is bottom of the barrel. I know I get what you saw, but he's just like a guy in my head. I sprinkled him. I'm not gonna lie, I sprinkled him with you, but
it was ugly.
2 other bombs I threw each way. I have 2 500 to 1s.
That's what we're here
2
for.
2 rookies, Braden Thornberry, who. He's been around. He's finally got his PGA Tour card, but sprinkled him, and then Aldrich. I don't even.
Aldi Potts.
Yeah, I don't even know how to fully say his last name yet, but obviously one of the last DP World Tour events of the year, he was right in the mix and kind of blew it on 18. So 500 to 1, I think, is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, he has the ability to almost drive every green and just give himself an absolute flip wedge on every single hole. And if he hits the driver straight, he can get really hot. Same thing with Chris Gotterup. And I just don't that's not really, it hasn't really worked here. But
No.
I think there's a way to do that. Like last week, I was at the Sony. I thought there was a real world for guys to bomb and gouge it. And I mean, you saw what Jaeger did. He
Yeah.
bomb and gouged every single hole, and it didn't work on one of them. And you saw what Fishburne did. It worked for 2.5 days. So I don't know if there's a world for that, but I like Pot Goddard and Goddard's ability to just give themselves that edge. But I mean, for maybe not outright, but I think they could definitely uh, play well enough to cash a
Yeah.
positional for sure. For sure. So I like where your head's at with that. I like Ryan Gerard at 150 to 1. He showed some really good
Yes.
signs last week. And like think of courses that he's played well on. Remember he almost won the Honda 2 or 3 years ago. Almost won. He didn't almost win Sony. He was playing really well at the Sony last week. Shorter Bermuda tracks, and now he comes to the Amex, which asks you very similar questions. Make birdies, get hot with those wedges. I'm definitely down for some from Ryan Gerard. I love his swing, by the way, and also Ben Coles 300 to 1. He's too good to be this. I posted a clip on it yesterday for yesterday. Ben Coles has been striping it. He cannot make a putt, but at 300 to 1, he's a guy who's played really well in the Corn Ferry Tour the last year, which is a place where you have to make a ton of birdies, and he's hitting
Yeah.
it as well as he's been hitting it forever. So I like Ben Coles to hopefully find some with the putter.
Yeah, I'm with you on Ryan Gerard. He was able to score last year on Corn Ferry as well. And 2 years ago, he had a bunch of sponsor exemptions when you were saying he played well at Honda. He was in the mix quite a bit that year, actually. So he's obviously been around. He's not like a full-on rookie in my eyes. Obviously, he'll be playing all of these tracks for the first time, or at least the entire schedule rather than just getting the sponsor exemptions. But I do like him as well. A couple guys. I had Lanto Griffin. The last 2 appearances at the Amex, he shot 17 under and 20 under. You can get a 3-1 on his top 40. Not a guy I would bet outright, but again, it's the Amex. So if you want to, I wouldn't talk you out of it. So
I want to take a look at what Adam Svensson did last week because I don't think he missed the cut for sure, but I want to see how he missed the cut. But I feel like this dude, he gained 2 on approach. He just didn't drive it well. He gained in everywhere but off the tee. This feels like a course that Adam Svensson can play well on. He never missed a cut here, and he's 120 to 1. Like this, he knows how to win. I'm down for some Svensson for sure. I think he could be a look. So, all right, let's get
what about the other Svensson?
Jesper, dude, I love Jesper. Jesper was my random Euro of the week last week on another pod, and
he was second birdie or better.
He's just done. He loves these shorter tracks where you have to make birdies. He played really well on them last year on the DP World Tour. So I'm definitely down for some Jesper as well. You want to get into matchups and positionals?
Yep.
And then we'll get into tournament matchups. Oh, I only have tournament 3 balls up here. Okay, you have a matchup, or do you want me to start?
Go ahead and start.
Okay, so I see a tournament 3 ball. Davis Thompson, Brian Harman, and Cameron Young. I'm gonna go. This is on DraftKings. Brian Harman plus 180. I said that I liked him already, and I would fade Davis. I don't love the way he's hitting his approach shots right now. And if you're not hitting your approach shots here, you're gonna have a lot. I feel like you're just gonna get lapped. And Cameron Young, extremely unserious. That's all I'll say about him. Even though I do like him on short golf courses, I just think this is good value with Brian Harman at plus 180, who I think might have found something. So that'll be my matchup for the week. Brian Harman in that 3 ball.
3 ball. I'm just gonna take Tom Kim over Wyndham Clark and Siwoo Kim. You get him at plus 175 on DraftKings. So can look there. Another plus 170 is a guy we talked about earlier, Patrick Cantlay against Finau and Burns. That gets a little trickier when you're dealing with guys at the top of the board, but I think both of those plays are pretty decent values.
I'm down for that. All right, positional top 40. You can get a plus 260 on Ben Coles, like I just mentioned. And Ben Coles is a golfer who is striping it, literally hitting it so damn well. Even if he does putt poorly, I could see that ball striking leading him to an easy top 40. So Ben Coles plus 260, top 40 will be my positional.
Mine is going to be Vince Whaley, plus 190. He's T40 or better in 3 of his last 4 appearances. So Yeah, we're gonna go Vince Whaley. Go. We're gonna be a little more realistic with the top 40 this week and get it a little closer to even money. But again, this is a week where if you want to pick 2 or 3 bombs on top 40s, you can still get some pretty decent numbers out there.
All right, outright. Who you guys? Start us off with the three each. We'll go back and forth.
I'm going to start off with Tom Kim at 30-1. Like I said, if you just look at the top of the board, I think he's got pretty good value. Like the way he was hitting his irons last week at Sony. The result wasn't really there, but he's had a high-end finishes here in the past. So I think Tom Kim at 30-1 is pretty good value.
All right, I'm going to go with Sepp at 60. The number's simply just too long, in my opinion. It really is too long. I think if Sepp was in that 40 range, no one would be surprised. He played well the first 2 weeks of the season. He had that insane birdie run of the century. He was close to the lead going into the Saturday's round and kind of didn't start well. I think Sepp is really close. He's doing everything well but chip. And like I said, you don't have to chip well here. So Sepp 60. And my second one will be who did I want to here? Can you go for your second one? I forgot.
Yeah, my second one. I'm going to stick towards the top for the first 2 and then bomb the third one. But Davis Thompson at 40-1.
Okay,
had a really good outing here as a rookie, like I said, and 40-1 also seems like a pretty good number for DT.
Okay, I'll go with Daniel Berger 75-1. He remember in the fall he was close to like 30-1 in one or two events because he found something. The ball striking really hasn't been much worse since then. It hasn't been as good, but it hasn't been much worse. And I still think Daniel Berger's coming into his own from a Ryder Cupper at an event that he should feel confident about, get hot. He's gonna give himself so many looks inside of 15 feet. Hopefully he can get hot with the putter. So Daniel Berger 75-1.
And my last one, I said I was gonna bomb. We're gonna go Matteo Manassero 350-1.
All right, my last guy is gonna be someone I've never bet before. Matt Kuchar. I just think Matt Kuchar is one of the golf courses that Kuchar just knows he can still play well on. And he's going to hit every fairway. He's going to have within 20 feet on every hole. And we've seen him almost win the Wyndham, just getting hot with the putter. I don't know if Kuchar has one more left in him, but I'll give him one more shot. This is an event that shouldn't be too much on him in terms of taxing energy. So I'm down for Kuchar. He can win. He can win one more.
All right. I don't mind that. I like betting guys that you don't bet often, and especially some like this week. So
yeah,
I love it.
All right, Dom. Thank you for joining me. Another great week, and the sweats that you and I are putting out are just generational. We've only had one cash, but they're like it's like a runner up. Checks out, but let's get one this week. Going to be a crazy event. Hopefully, we'll have some fun watching this piece of shit putting contest. But catch you guys next week. Any questions? You know where to find us, and hope you guys have a great week.
See ya.